This is paper 2, video 6 for the February mock exam. First topic we're going to look at on this video is Venn diagrams. So here we've got a Venn diagram showing the number of people who play chess and who are in maths club in a particular form in a school. So the first question we've got is how many students are there all together? All we need to do to work out a total number of students is simply add all of the numbers together. The one on the left, 3, shows the number of people in chess club only. 7 is the number of people that are in both clubs. 6 is the number of pupils just in maths. And then this 13 on the outside is the number of pupils in the form that don't do anything. So adding all these 3 bits together, or 4 bits together, we get a total of 29. That's how many students are in the form. It then asks for some probabilities. The first one we're looking for is what is the probability a student is chosen at random and they're in chess club. Well, altogether there are 3 and 7, so altogether 10 pupils that play chess. So the probability will be 10 out of the number of people in the form, 29. Second probability we've got, similar idea, number of students who do not play or not are part of maths club. So if they're not in maths club, that would be the 3 people here and the 13 people that are part of either club. So 13 and 3 would make 16 out of, and again, it's out of 29. The next question again is to do with a very similar Venn diagram. This time using the same scenario, the same form. We've got 3 new students joining the group. So we've got more people in the form. So the first thing I would think about there before anything else is that we had 29 before, 3 new pupils have joined. So we now have 32 pupils altogether in the form. First line down says that the probability that they're in chess club is 3 out of 8. Now that simply means that's what fraction of the pupils take part in chess. So 3/8 of 32 gives us 12, and that's the number of students that do chess. 7/16 are in the maths club, so 7/16 of 32 again, that gives us 14. And then it says 8 of the students are now in both clubs. So here, if we've got 8 students that take part in both clubs, using this first probability, there are 12 people altogether who do chess. So if we've got 8 in the chess circle already, we would need another 4 to make us up to 12. 14 pupils altogether are in maths club, so we've got 8 already, plus another 6 here. Now remember there's 32 students altogether in this form. So far in the diagram, we've got 4 plus 8 plus 6. So that's 18 students. So we would have to have another 14 to get up to 32. So there must be 14 students who do not take part in one of the clubs. Ratio is the next topic we've got. So often on the exams nowadays they do quite long, quite involved ratio questions. So on this one we've got that 234 cakes are sold in the ratio 3 to 11 to 12. Before I go on and read anything else on the question, the first thing I'm going to do is actually share the 234 in that ratio. Remember the process to share in a ratio is to add together the 3 parts of the ratio. So this gives us 26. So we need to work out how many times 26 fits into 234. So in other words, we need to do 234 divided by 26, which, don't forget, calculator paper, that gives us 9. So all I need to do now is multiply each of the numbers that relate to the small, medium and large cakes by 9. So 3 times 9 will give us 27. 11 times 9 is 99. And 12 times 9 is 108. So here we've got the 3 different numbers relating to the different types of cake. The next line down then says that the profit for a small cake and the medium cake are linked. In fact, medium cake has twice as much profit as the small cake. Now, we're not told anywhere in the question what individually the profit is for each one. So here what I'm going to say is that if we let small cake, the profit for that equal X. Therefore, for the medium cake, because it is twice as much, that would be represented by 2X. And then next line down here, it says that for a large cake, it has 3 times the profit of a small cake. So large, put all of these together, 3 times X will give us 3X. So this is the individual profit for each of the different size cakes. Down at the bottom, it then brings in the total profit for all of the cakes. Now it gives us a value for this, so what I need to do is try and work out some sort of calculation or some sort of algebra that relates to this number. In order to do that, if we take small cake has a profit of X, and we sold 27 of them. So we would have to do 27 multiplied by X, so 27X. For the medium cakes, profit is 2X, and there was 99 of them sold. So we would have to do 99 multiplied by 2X. That would give us 198X. And then for the large cake, the profit is 3X, and 108 of these have been sold. So the total profit for all of those would be 108 times 3X. 108 times 3, so 324X. Now it says the total profit is 674.73. So the total profit I'd find by adding all 3 of these together. That should equal 674.73. Well, if we add these 3 together, the values that have got the X on, that gives us a total of 549X, which is equal to the £674.73. So the very final step that we'd have to do here is divide both sides by 549. Divided by 549 comes out as our cost, or profit should I say, per cake. So the profit per cake, if I've done my calculation correct, is £1.22. Just do your calculation and check that to make sure. If it gives us value that does not round perfectly, or does not, should I say, look like a monetary value, you would have to round. The last little topic for this video is all to do with triangles. So here we've got 2 triangles. We'll start with the top one. And what we need to try and find is the value here, this value of y. Now clearly these are not right angled triangles. So my thought process here is, which of the other formulas, the more complex trigonometry formulas, am I going to have to use? If you have got 2 sides and the angle in between, that means it's either going to be the area formula or the cosine rule. If we look at this question here, the 2 sides we've got, we have not got the angle in between. And in fact we haven't got the 2 sides either. So this tells me we are going to be using the sine rule. Now the sine rule is A over sine A is equal to B over sine B, where A and little a are side and opposite angle, and B and little b are going to be side and opposite angle. So we work in pairs here. So we've got these 2 that are linked together and these 2. Now the reason I've done it this way round with the formula is because it is a side that we are looking for. It's much easier to have a side at the top of the fraction in our formula if that's what you're looking for. So if we put these 2 in as values for A, we get that y over sine 35 is equal to, and using these 2 values, 15 over sine 70. I need to rearrange this to try and make y the subject. So here I have to do the opposite of divide by sine 35 and times by sin 35. So if I do that, times it by sin 35 will give me y on the left hand side. Times this by sin 35. Remember, you only times the top of fractions if you're timesing it by a whole number or by a single thing. So it gives us 15 times sin 35 over sin 70. Now if you type all that into your calculator, be very careful, make sure you use the fraction button, and if your calculator needs it, put little brackets around your values after the sin. That gives you a value of y of 9.16 centimetres. For the second question, very similar sort of idea. This time though, if you notice, the thing that we are looking for is the angle. So the difference that I'm going to make here is that instead of putting the side at the top, it is going to be the angle, the sin A or sin B that will go at the top. So if we do this, the exact same idea, so sin A over little a, because it's an angle that we're looking for, so that goes on top, is equal to sin B over little b. If we pair these up, so these two and these two, I'm going to put these ones as my A, so we've got sin of something is over 16 is equal to sin 34 over 10. So here what I'd need to do is now again rearrange to try and make y the subject. So at that point I'm going to times by 16 to get rid of that divide by 16 there to give me sin y is equal. Remember, if you're timesing a fraction by a whole number, an integer, you just times the top, so it gives me 16 times sin 34 all over 10. Now if you type that into your calculator, you will get a value for sin of y, but that's not what we're wanting. What we're wanting then is to actually find out y. So whenever you're finding an angle within trigonometry, you are always going to use the little sin to the minus 1, the inverse function. So if you do sin to the minus 1 of whatever value you get from typing all of that into your calculator, press equals, and what you should get is an angle of 63.5 degrees. And that will be the value of y.